Welcome. It's Thursday, and I am coming to you live to talk about the power of the step back. The power of the step back from your life to slingshot you forward into whatever direction you are choosing to take yourself. My name is Kelly Carthy. If you have not joined this time to be with me and hang out for a 15-minute block or so. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much for joining me. I would love for you to share where you're watching this from and what is pulling you inside your life at the moment. What is creating that busyness and that feeling that you can't take time off? I would love to know what that experience is like for you at the moment, because I know for so many this is the way that we're feeling. We're feeling that we're being pulled in so many different directions, and the ground below us is not steady, that anything could happen in any moment. Everything is so uncertain. So in these times, as I do these lives each day, I am wanting to give you something that you can actually take away and implement instantly. That is my hope. So today I'm talking about the power of the step back, that beautiful slingshot effect that we can create in our life by actually taking that step back, both physically and step before we move forward. I'm going to talk about three kinds of step back that I look at. One is voluntary, one is forced, and one is integrated. Now, the integrated piece is the one that you'll be able to take away and use immediately today. When life happens to us, we're often forced to take a step back from our life. When everything's messy in the middle, it's really hard to make any kind of decision from that place, from inside it all. And it's really, really important that we have that ability to step above our lives. And as an extremist, my usual thing is to jump on a plane and go somewhere and really get that feeling physically of extracting myself from my life so that I can get a better perspective. Probably one of the reasons why I created my company based on leadership coaching and retreats is that opportunity to do that as a regular practice in my life. In recent times, though, that isn't necessarily an opportunity. And some of us have been given forced setbacks, whether it is losing a job, losing a loved one, something happening in your life that actually stops you dead. And you have to change the way that you're looking at things or change the way that you're doing things out of force. You haven't planned it. And what I've found, things happen, it's a real invitation to surrender. The biggest thing that stops us from really creating our life and designing our life from a place of choice is that resistance to surrender. We have this desire to control it all and to plan it all and to make sure that everything is running according to the way that we want it to. And in my experience, that's actually not how we design our best life. We design our best life from having that beautiful vision and that plan, and then having that ability to surrender it to the path that unfolds in front of you. And so when life happens to us, it can be really, really challenging to take that step back. It can be really scary to take that step back and revision in a different direction. But what if that place that you find yourself in, where everything is flipped on its head, is actually the thing that catapults you into the direction you most desire? my invitation to you today is, if you're finding yourself in this situation where there are circumstances that are happening around you that are so out of your control, but you're still trying to control them, what could be possible if you just let go and really started to tune into what the message underneath that whole scenario is, and really ask yourself that question: what do I really want? The voluntary step back is when we actually see that it is important and vital for us not to keep running on the treadmill of life, and to actually create those spaces where we take that step back away from life so that we can get a better perspective. And I get it that sometimes that doesn't feel possible. When you have lots of responsibilities and lots of things that you're juggling all at once, you feel that you can't drop anything, that there are so many people that are relying on you to show up, that taking a retreat somewhere for even a few days is just an impossible task. That's why I'm going to talk about the third piece, which is an integrated step back. We don't necessarily have to jump on a plane and extract ourselves from what's happening in our life to be able to make those shifts and changes. While I highly recommend that you do stage have that experience of really taking that huge step back from experiencing life so you can get that opportunity to have a bigger vision. The reality of how you're living now, and if you are in that loop, that's a really tricky big step to take. So what's that little micro step that you can take that is easy to implement right now? And that is, how do you integrate that ability to step back in your life as a practice? You may have caught yesterday's live where I was talking about capacity, talking about time, and talking about that 1 minute of time. Now, 1 minute might not seem like a long time, but if you take a step back and even close your eyes for a moment and take yourself out of, and within your mind's eye, take yourself way up above. Imagine you're flying on a plane or standing on a mountaintop, and really take that opportunity to look down. You have that moment of time where you can get a different perspective, asking yourself intelligent questions like, does this really matter in the bigger scheme of things? What is the one next step that I can take in this day that brings me back to my own center, back to my own purpose? And more importantly, where am I trying to control things that are so out of my control? Where am I fighting reality? Where am I stuck in that place where I'm trying to change things that I can't change? Surrender is a really scary thing, particularly for someone in a leadership role who is used to controlling a lot of different things in their life. Yet surrender is the way that we recognize how little of our life we're actually in control of. And that if you just focus on that one next step, being able to take that slingshot approach for 1 minute, 5 minutes, if you can, an entire lunch break, and really take yourself out of your life, you might find a perspective there that you didn't see possible before. That ability to look down and look how can I let go of? We get so caught up in the story of busy, in the story of being needed in so many different directions, and in the story of struggle. And what if struggle is actually a story that you tell yourself on a daily basis, so often that it becomes your experience? What is a really quick way that you can shift from struggle to ease? Surrender. So applying this in your life, you can do that practice now, lunchtime, tonight before you go to bed, whenever you take that space to just go above your life and really look at what's most important. If you dropped everything right now, what would be the one thing that you would pick up? Second piece, ease doesn't start from outside of you. Take it from someone who has the ability to complicate even the simplest of tasks. It is a practice to choose ease over struggle. And part of that practice is taking a step back and really getting discerning about what can I control and what can I not control. And those things that are outside of my control, can I just let them go, and can I take the actions that are within my sphere that are going to move me towards a better solution? In recent times, I've had a very real experience of how little we have a control over the way that life unfolds. And the only powerful thing that I had in those moments was those practices of stepping back and recognizing what was in my realm. When life happens at you and you've got things coming at you from all different angles, the one thing you do have control over is how you show up in those situations. And when those situations are happening at you, if that isn't a practice that you are repeating on a consistent basis, it's unlikely that you're going to take that step back and respond. So my invitation today, if you're watching this and you're starting to resonate with some of the things I'm saying, yes, life feels like it's on a treadmill. Yes, there's so much going on. There are so many moving parts, and I do feel like take today to do that one thing that allows you that breath, that step back, that coming back into here. And give yourself the gift of that practice. It may be challenging at first when you can actually feel all of that pressure. But as I said yesterday, even that minute can shift the way that we react as a response. It can shift a decision or an action we were going to take and shift it even a slight amount to the left or the right. Take us in a completely different trajectory. Tuning out from that crazy world that's around us and tuning back in to the part that's going to lead us the most effectively through our life. I hope that some of this has been really helpful for you. This beautiful power of step back is definitely something that I have put into all of my coursework for Unlimited, which will be released next week. It is an 8-week experience, and if you're interested, I'll be sharing a link for early access this afternoon. This is not adding to your to-do list. This is about stripping away and really finding that place of lightness to move forward. Have an incredible afternoon. thank you again so much for taking this 15 minutes out of your day to grab some of this content, and hopefully my intention is that you take it and implement it in some way into your life today. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you back here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Brisbane time, 12 p.m. Sydney time.